You've got to come up, Robert. And I'll just remind you that you're 10 minutes. And it's to be strictly on the credential report. And as per normal, nothing to be improper or resulting towards any administration or any other. You understand that, Robert?
I do, yep.
We'll give you, the CEO will give you an indication when you've got 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, for the opportunity to speak to you and the elected members about the jetty decision that needs to be made. I acknowledge this is going to be a very demanding time for you and elected members as you attempt to find a balance between the social benefits of the two jetties and the amount of funds required to repair and maintain them. On the 18th of November and again on the 26th of November, I sat in the public gallery to listen to the members of the Audit and Risk Committee discuss the Prudential Report, rating analysis and other information provided to them. I remind members that the Audit and Risk Committee comprises of 3 independent members who are qualified accountants and Councillor Cotts and Councillor Ward. Both meetings dealt with the Prudential Report for about 60 minutes and then adjourned for the next meeting for another 55 minutes of meeting discussion before any resolutions were endorsed unanimously by all the committee members. The resolutions are all recorded in the minutes of the meeting and the special report from the committee chair, Ms Lee, provided to elected members. Tonight I want to highlight some of the information that was referred to during that discussion by the Audit Committee members and Corinne from the UHY Haynes Norton. Our first quote comes from the rating analysis, from the summary, page 4. The following is a summary of the key points within the data analysis regarding the District Council of Tumby Bay. Financial, 2023, District Council has an operating deficit ratio of minus 20%. The Council's target is 0%. A sustained negative ratio at this level creates challenges in the becoming and remaining financially sustainable. The Council has had ongoing rate increases above the inflation for the past few years to address this. In 2023, the District Council of Tumby Bay had a considerable higher spending on recreational jetties. The community perspective. 30% of the residents have household income, not individual income, household income of up to $26,000. 27% of residents have a household income from $26,000 to $52,000. 23% of residents have a household income of $52,000 and up to $104,000 per annum. The Council's resident households are fairly evenly divided over 3 income categories, with a significant difference between the lowest and the highest incomes. 13% of the households are under mortgage stress. This is likely to have increased since the census of 2020. 33% of the households are under rental stress. This is likely to have also increased since 2020. And my comment is, I have previously provided similar statistics from the ABS and I welcome them being included in this report. 57% of residents in households with an income of less than $52,000 per annum. 7% of our residents. The business community, the majority of council's business turnover between $200,000 to $2 million, and the next range is 28% on $50,000 up to $200,000. The turnover statistic for business does not factor in the expenditure and the actual profitability of businesses. My comment is, last information provided by the Air RDA indicates that agriculture in Tumby Bay, District Council of Tumby Bay, generated $83 million year ending 2022. The Prudential Report and review by the committee. The various options were discussed and assessed as to their community and financial impact. The minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee show in part the following, and I quote, financial impact. Council has very limited capacity to increase rate revenue in the short term without high risk of serious financial consequences for a significant portion of its ratepayers. Significant project commitments. If council determines to retain a functioning jetty based on the options under consideration, then this is likely to be a single intergenerational project and asset commitment within the Council's financial sustainability parameters. Most other projects will need to be adjusted, deferred or abandoned, and or service levels and costs reviewed, requiring the resetting of other project and program commitments and priorities currently reflected in the Council's long-term financial plan. Actually, I'm quoting this from the minutes from the meeting. Financial sustainability. Council should ensure that its financial sustainability targets are maintained in the medium to long term. Major project commitments must be balanced, desired community outcomes, risks, financial impact on ratepayers and overall financial sustainability. That's the end of the quotation. An email was recently circulated by an elected member of this council in relation to the jetty. And in part it stated, and I quote, "Before any decision is made regarding the jetty, council will call a public meeting to discuss the options of what is the best plan going forward for all ratepayers, particularly bearing in mind the long-term financial impost on the community and what that will mean for ratepayers." I support that statement. I suggest that elected members move tonight a motion requesting the Mayor to call a public meeting to inform and listen to the community with regard to future of both jetties. My next suggestion is that elected members move a motion advising the CEO of the following changes to the Council's long-term financial plan. A, the commitment to raise a revenue of $750,000 in the next year's budget, 25-26, to finish the jetty repair works at Port Neale be endorsed. The following three budgets, 26-27, 27-28 and 28-29, should raise revenue of $800,000 for each of those budget years. This will enable the Council to match the state government funds of $2.4 million, which it agreed to in principle earlier this year. It will engage contractors to work annually on the Tumbleweed Bay jetty, repairing the full length of the jetty, spending an annual amount of $1.6 million each year. The contractor would commence the work of renewal from the foreshore, moving eastward year on year until the full length of the jetty is remediated. The contractor will be able to use jetty-based machinery rather than barge-based, thereby reducing the significant funds. Ratepayer revenue dedicated to the renewal of both jetties will be used, preventing the need to borrow funds given Council's limited borrowing capacity. With regard to the planned foreshore flood mitigation work, I suggest tonight that elected members move a motion to defer the implementation of the coastal adaptation plan until after the jetty work is complete in 2029. That the CEO should be instructed to cease any appointment of consultants engaged to plan and design the implementation of the coastal adaptation plan. Instead, utilise the $800,000 which is allocated in this year's budget for consultants for the restoration of the beach access between the Blue Water Cafe and the jetty. Tonight in your agenda is a petition from the local community on that very aspect. Yes, I am suggesting elected members endorse option 1 of the Prudential Report as the intergenerational project that will change the length of the jetty and the habitat of the leafy sea dragons.
2 minutes, Rob.
Sorry, 2 minutes. Mr Whelan, CEO of the Department of Infrastructure and Transport, wrote in a letter to the Council on the 12th of November, and I quote, "As per our funding offer dated the 15th of March 2024, the $2.4 million grant was allocated for repairing the full length of the jetty, aligned with the South Australian Jetties Strategic Plan and Pilot Program business case. This offer was accepted in principle on the 22nd of March 2024. End of quote. As I understand the government's offer, it was made on the basis of a $4.8 million expenditure plan to remediate the full length of the Tumbleweed Bay jetty to enable it to sign up for a new lease for 15 years. I note that even though the Council approved in principle the $2.4 million expenditure in March, this year elected members chose not to make any budget allocation in this year's budget. Members, thank you for listening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the panel?
Robert, I would like to just ask, actually about for the people.
Sorry.
For the people, and who do you represent of that? Do they have a membership? Do you actually have meetings? Do you document minutes from the meetings that you have, and are they circulated to people? From my observation, you seem to be a lone ranger. I might be I might have that wrong. You alone seem to make up the newsletters, and sometimes they don't have all the correct information in them, misleading, that you alone distribute. So, if you'd like to provide information to refute that, I'd be pleased to hear it. That's my question.
Thank you. If you feel that I misled people in the information I circulated, you're quite welcome to raise that with me, and I would be happy to clarify. For the people is a group of people who are the silent majority, silent people in this town.
But
Because
we don't know who they are.
I'm not going to tell you either, because when you get told, these people get isolated and get threatened with legal action and get intimidated. And I've seen it too many times, so I thought that I'd be prepared to put my hand up and be their spokesperson, have a discussion with them. They're pensioners, they're business people, they're people around town who are not prepared to put their name and face to the issue in this city.
I think you're very sad.
So I'm not prepared to debate it with you. I also want to raise it with you quite clearly that you've made a mistake tonight, because I'm actually here on my own behalf, not for the people.
You've asked your deputation for the people, Rob.
You should check the deputation. It's wrong. What's in the agenda?
Well, I can only go by the agenda.
Yeah, well, the agenda's my mistake. Mayor signed off on me personally coming here to provide a deputation.
That's how, as I understand it, and that's why my questions were.
It had nothing to do with for the people.
The information that you've given us tonight, I think, is all in our report. You've sort of verbatim given us the information that has actually been in the report. So
Sure.
thank you for reiterating all those things that you have.
Well, it's important that the community understands what's in the report, and there's a lot of reading there, and I don't envy you having to go through it all. There's a lot of reading there. I wanted to highlight it. I would have preferred that, I now notice that the chair for the audit committee is actually here. I hope she's going to speak to you, because some of the stuff I heard at that audit committee was pretty horrendous for me to hear about this council and its future. And I think you as elected members need to hear it, and you need to understand quite clearly.
I look forward to hearing from it. Thank you. That's all. I don't have any more questions.
Any other questions? No. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
For your time.